The following program does not necessarily represent the views and opinions of Reality Radio 101, its advertisers and sponsors, or its listening audience. Listener discretion is advised. Good afternoon and welcome to the Liquid Green Health Show with your hosts Fred and Janet Cox, right here on Reality Radio 101. To get on board right now, send us an email. Our email address is liquidgreenhealthshow@gmail.com. And now, ladies and gentlemen, right to your hosts of the Liquid Green Health Show, Fred and Janet Cox.
Wow, what an afternoon. Sunday afternoon, 5:30 p.m. This is the Liquid Green Health Show. It's Sunday, September the 25th, and a warm welcome to our listeners in Toronto, across Canada, United States, and around the world. We are here this afternoon to give you some wonderful information along with my host, Janet Cox. And this show is sponsored today by Liquid Green Products, Inc., producers of Eco Superior Green Products. And, as usual, I always like to remind my listeners that if they're not using liquid green products to clean their home, office, or car, then what in the world are they using, right? You can always go to our website, visit us at liquidgreenproducts.com, click on any product you'd like to try, and at checkout, enter RR101 to get a huge discount. Fill in where you would like your order to be shipped to, and it will be rushed from our warehouse to your warehouse. This is a live broadcast, but like all previous broadcasts, it can be found on Spotify. Just type in Liquid Green Health Show. Also on Facebook at Liquid Green Products Inc., and as well as YouTube. Again, just type in Liquid Green Health Show. Like, share, comment, subscribe, get the word out, and also during the show, if you'd like to send in an email to us, we would love to hear from you.
Oh, we love those emails.
We love those emails. Yeah. Write us at Liquid Green Health Show. Liquid Green Health Show @gmail.com. That's Liquid Green Health Show @gmail.com. Today's broadcast, like all our broadcasts, is for education and entertainment purposes only, designed to stimulate the mind and help us bring you one step closer to a healthier lifestyle. We do not have a guest today.
Well, we had a guest until about, 15 minutes
15
ago?
minutes ago. Our guest, unfortunately cannot make the show.
And let me explain. Kira, our guest is actually a realtor, Kira Anderson. And she called, "Mom, I have such disappointing news. But you know what? Our granddaughter, Maya, is being taken to the hospital."
She's been taken to the hospital.
Yeah. But it's, parents, families, kids come first, family comes first. So if something has come up, if there's an emergency anywhere, that's what we deal with. So she may tune in, she may not, but we're going to act on the premise that we'll have to get her on another time. And perhaps not today. So Fred, you and I are
We're going to steer the ship today, all right?
Poor listeners, they're going to get Fred instead of Kira.
Yeah. So,
but I know that's not a problem for many, right?
That's the way life goes sometimes. You have to go when the tide rises, you got to rise with the tide. So we're here this afternoon, folks. And once again, I'd like to welcome you to the Liquid Green Health Show. My name is Fred Cox. This is my co-host, Janet Cox. And today we are going to be talking relating real estate. The topic today was supposed to be real estate and health.
Going to be. We're still going to go ahead with our topic, right? I think we can.
We will still go ahead with that, and we'll try our best to see how we can link the two together, as we go along. Okay. So.
Right. So.
Where did we start?
Okay. Back down. So, Kira, what we discussed, like shelter, we talked about homelessness.
Very important.
And do you want to go ahead and just tell folks
Well,
about what we sent out this week?
Yeah,
right?
what we
Really
sent out,
short.
the topic was real estate and your health. And the line that we used was having adequate shelter is imperative. It's imperative to our feeling of well-being. It helps to maintain our will to survive. And we also mentioned that being house poor, which is something a lot of the homeowners are, people have houses, but they still can't go on vacation. They have to go to work in order to pay the mortgage. And that, in my opinion, is a definition of house poor, right? So being house poor or being homeless results in a lot of stress.
Major stress.
Major stress, depression, and sometimes it leads to homelessness.
Hopelessness,
so,
right?
Hopelessness.
Yeah, homelessness leads to hopelessness.
Right.
And that's what we were going to tackle today, because Kira, she's been in real estate for over 17 years. And what she focuses on is with her clients is she has established marketing and negotiating strategies. Won't you say, Fred?
Yes, very
and
good.
What I like about Kira and how she works is the passion that she has about homes, and especially homes that offer a multi-generational lifestyle.
Now,
because buyers and sellers can get, in her opinion, this is a way for buyers and sellers to get the most from their homes and the community. Yes.
And the way the Canadian demographic is shifting to, a lot of new homeowners are now immigrants. And those immigrants are coming from societies where they are accustomed living, together.
They don't call it,
we don't call it multi-generational living from where we're from. We just say it's a family living in one house.
Yes.
I mean, that's how most of us grew up in. But today, because of the shift in real estate, the high prices, the cost to buy a house, both interest rates and the general cost, there's a need for something like this. So
actually, according to, when I was doing the research on this, the American Psychological Association, which is the APA, it cites that money is the top cause of stress in the US.
Wow.
Now, that was a study that was done long ago, since 2015.
And nothing much has changed. Nothing has changed, right?
Because when we talk about stress, like almost every single show we've done for the past, I almost sound like a broken record. Stress comes out as the problem. Stress is the major problem.
And it comes in many forms. You have the financial, you have the relationship, and many other things could
it's physical and it's psychological, right?
Yeah.
And what does it do to us? It's anxiety.
It wears us down.
Depression.
Yeah.
Right? It's people have difficulty concentrating. We have difficulty making decisions.
Yeah. Well, one thing you don't have in your notes, it gives you gray hair.
Fatigue. Well, that comes with, you get the gray hair with stress.
Look at mine, folks. Look at mine.
My silver locks has been from aging gracefully.
Oh, I thought you would have said it was
like Lisa LaFlamme. I just look at that lady's hair and say, wow,
such a beautiful,
her hair looks so awesome.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And yet here she is. For people who don't know, you could Google her. She's an anchor in Toronto. Lisa LaFlamme used to be, because she was actually let go. She's now senior and her hair is not black like the older men. It's a long story, but anyway, let's not get away from the topic. But I wish I could have her on our show one day, right? But stress can cause heart palpitations.
Yes.
You know that?
Yes.
And mood swings.
Mood swings.
Right? If we had a doctor, they would concur that things like stomach pain, muscle tension, the feeling of being overwhelmed, right? The lack of patience. Like, you have no comment on the patience.
I'm not going to mention that. I'm going to turn sideways. Increase
like frustration, right? And also, as you mentioned earlier, a problem with personal relationships.
Yes.
That is what stress can cause. And stress can be caused, as it says, many other things, from work, from relationships, your children, whatever, health. But money seems to be one of the main ones. And so today with real estate, we were going to focus on that, right? On, to begin with, on homelessness, right?
The homelessness problem in Canada, but specifically in Ontario, is a huge problem.
Right.
It's a big problem because I don't know how they're going to solve it. There are a lot of reasons why people go homeless.
Yes.
Right.
What are some of them?
Relationship,
the breakdown, like a divorce, or
lack of money, unemployment. Many reasons why people go homeless. Mental issues as well. Yeah. Right, and that is a huge problem right now.
No income. If you've lost your job.
Yeah, that's what I said. Unemployment. Right. Right here in Durham, in Ajax, there's a section in Ajax there where it's now, being called Tent City.
Oh yes, like Vancouver.
Right.
Or
so
like downtown Toronto that we had earlier.
Yeah.
We focus a lot on Toronto and Canada because that's what we know, but we know we have the same problems in the US and basically globally.
Yeah.
Homelessness is a problem.
It's a big problem.
Right?
And natural disasters can cause homelessness and all these things.
All those people that go through that.
In Pakistan, because of the major flooding, thousands of people are currently homeless. So that kind of stress can lead to a lot of things. Rather, those conditions can lead to stress that can lead to health problems.
Yes. So right. Do you know what they say though, what the experts say though, despite all of those reasons we've mentioned, being evicted from your home, the lack of job, your low income, you've been thrown out from your home because of divorce or family situations. It's more systemic. The problem is more systemic. But from the governments, in Canada, from the municipal, provincial governments, because it's the lack of affordable housing.
Yes.
Right? Because if the builders, they're passing this back, the developers, they're passing it back to the municipalities because they say there's so many fees and everything is just more expensive.
Yes.
And so what do? They pass this back to the consumer. And so house prices
keep going up. Right.
I think Kira sent us some statistics, like the average price.
The average,
Toronto
it's over $1 million, right?
It's 1.074. That's what I found. I know she had sent something. The average price of a home in Toronto, right? But it's ridiculous. Like
I'm going to look for the stats. Continue talking.
On an
I'll look for that.
Salary, who can afford a home price of that? So that's why people are moving out into the suburbs, right? So the pandemic also was a major reason that the impact of the pandemic, because of the lockdowns and people working from home, the supply chain problems, etc. There just was people thought that during the pandemic they were doing better off.
Yes.
Because people just said, they had the savings. The stats came out that Americans had amassed massive amounts in savings. But after, when they took a closer look, it so happened that it was only 1% of the population that was really doing well.
Right.
And that was, which group do you think?
I don't know.
The richest group, the 1%. Okay. The very wealthy. They amassed,
because they had the means. They had the means to do it in the first. Now, coming to the stats that Kira sent us, the average selling price in Toronto now is $1.079, $million.
Yes.
Right. So, and that's a 0.9% more than, say, previously. Okay. Home sales have, 5,627 homes have been sold. 34.2% less than in August. And that's an August 21 report.
And right? Some other information I was looking at, it stated that 531,500 residential units.
Mm-hmm.
That was the applications in Toronto
For
new homes.
For new homes?
Yes.
Wow.
Right. But of that, 168,000 were approved,
right,
but they have not yet started building.
Okay.
And that's why we have such a crisis.
But okay,
houses.
is that a direct result of
developers hold, they buy
developers hold,
land.
right, that's what I mean. They're getting the certificate to build,
Yes.
but they're not building.
Right.
And so by holding on to those certificates,
the land value
keeps going up, putting the strain on people, and then not just the land value, but the cost for borrowing now, with all the stringent restrictions that they're putting on the first homeowner to buy a home. They're just pushing them out to the market. So
and those are the things we were going to talk about in terms of the stress test and all the various things
on the mortgage, right? So now, from my understanding, I'm not a real estate agent, but from my understanding, if Kira were here today, I probably would have asked her, what does it take for a person to buy? Can one person purchase a home today, or you have to come together as a group?
Well, that's what she focuses on, is the multi-generational home, and we are going to get there's
so what is multi?
We know we have she has done it. She has not actually talked the talk. She's actually done it.
She's done it.
And we're going to look at that in a bit.
Okay.
But you mentioned in the beginning about being house poor.
Yes.
And being house poor is not just falling behind on the bills, right? That is a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically when the entire family income with everybody in the house and everything goes to service the debt. Your
inability to do anything outside of paying the mortgage.
Yes.
That's house poor.
That's what it is.
In a nutshell, that is house poor.
And what it says is like 5.5 million Canadians are vulnerable to financial shock. You know what that means? It means if interest rates continue to rise, or if a job loss occurs, they are going to be facing ruin pretty quickly, right?
Now, I got some email I want to touch, and I just want to let our listeners know we are not experts in this field, folks. We should have had an expert on today. Unfortunately, just 10-15 minutes prior to the show, we got a call from our guest that there was a family emergency that she had to take her daughter, which is our granddaughter.
Yeah.
Kira Anderson.
Maya comes first. Maya trumps the Liquid Green Health Show.
Had to take Maya to the hospital, and I hope everything is okay. If she can hear us, give Maya a hug for us, and I hope everything is fine.
And before we go to the emails, I just want to finish off this little section because it says 30% of people are unable in Canada to pay their debts. And this has been the highest number since they started the index through which they check the statistics.
What was that? 30%?
In 2017, 30%, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just get to the email. Here's an email from Jim, and he said, I was listening to another real estate show on RR 101, which is the same station yesterday. And they reported that Canada is now making 3D homes with super computer printers now. Wow. They are being built in Leamington, Ontario, and they are gorgeous. Okay.
Wow. Yes, we're familiar with.
So they're being made with 3D computers.
The
3D printers.
Yes. Wow. And there's so many options. You'll hear about the container homes.
I didn't realize that the 3D printing technology had advanced to that level. Wow.
For everything now.
Everything.
Right?
Here's one from Karen. Karen says, I release my stress by listening to you each week. Thanks for the therapy. Oh, thank you for that.
Okay, Karen, no jokes. Would you believe we still get jokes?
Yeah.
That relieves our stress.
Thank you. And here's one from Gail. Gail says, real estate market has been so terrible for people to try and buy a home. I'm hoping that maybe it will get better in the very near future. Thank you for reporting this.
And we
hope so as well.
Even though this is a health show, I was talking to a friend today, and she said, Janet, this is a really good topic.
Yeah.
She said, I was homeless. And
Wow.
she says, it's so stressful. She said, sometimes you feel like you want to kill yourself.
The complexities of real estate, owning real estate or trying to acquire real estate in of itself is a huge stress-induced experience that you're going to go through. Because once you've been qualified, you get a pre-qualification. There are times when you get pre-qualified and you go to buy the home, the valuation of the home comes in less than what you were pre-qualified for. That is stress.
All sorts of things.
That is stress. So you got to come up with an extra $3,000 or $4,000 just before closing. You don't have it. You got to run to family to get it, that is stress. Real estate acquisition in this country is very, very stressful.
As a matter of fact, another survey. This is one on homes. On the rise. They said multi-generational homes is here to stay, right? It said 7 in 10 people who are doing it currently plan to do this.
Now, but who are the ones that are really doing the multi-generational? Is it older?
Different types. It's different types of generational homes, right? Okay. The most typical will be a 3-generation. Okay. So you'll have the parents, the grandparents, and then there's some grandchildren.
Like in Kira's case.
That's exactly what that is. It's like 3 generations together. Okay. And of course, there are all the benefits we can list after. Then there's also the 2-generation homes with just 2 adult families. Okay. So either mom and dad took in another family, the family, the millennial family that needs support and they come in, or where the parents actually move into the home of couples who are not doing badly, and that's a situation. Then there's also the 4-generational home, and that's where everybody lives together, the great grandparents, the parents, etc. Not as common right now, but you mentioned some cultures have been doing this forever. For aeons, right?
Okay, we got a message from our producer, and this one is for you. It says, Janet, please do not pound the table. It's loud.
Oh, oh my goodness. Okay. Thank you.
We got that, Gary.
Okay, it sounds like you're actually building a foundation for a house when you do that.
Yeah.
That's my next job, right? Next job. Thank you for that. Okay.
So you want to talk about the generational thing, the multi-generational?
So let's see what Kira sent. And she sent something here that was quite interesting.
Now, while you're looking for that, let me just tell our listeners that for those of you who are joining us for the first time, or if you joined us late, you're listening to the Liquid Green Health Show on Reality Radio 101. My name is Fred Cox, and my co-host here with me, who always seems to like to dress this in the same colors that I'm wearing. Her name is Janet, and we want to welcome you to our show today. Thank you.
So what Kira had sent, I'm just going to browse through it, right? Real estate in Toronto and the rest of Canada could be on the way towards a crisis point.
Wow.
And this is according to a 2022 housing inventory report released by Remax, the company she works with. She does work with Remax Realtron in Scarborough. And that was released last Monday. The report underscores what experts have been shouting from the rooftop for years, which is something that we mentioned earlier, Frederick. It's the critical shortage of homes. The inventory of homes requires immediate action from the politicians.
And it's funny, for a country as large as Canada, I know a lot of the land space is covered with ice, but there's still a lot of space in Canada where homes could be built. The problem is they don't have the infrastructure to get people in and out. Take, for example, in the GTA, we have one major highway that takes you from Windsor all the way to Montreal, and then all the homes are built along that route. And so all traffic pours out from these communities onto the highway, and they just clog up the highway. Whereas I think they need to be building more highways, right? But that's another topic, right? More highways need to be built to get us in and out of the city. God forbid if there's an emergency and people got to run out, get away, it's going to be craziness. Anyway,
I can't find her personal story. You changed my
I changed
screen.
your thought. But
Okay.
let's talk about homelessness. Let's just go back to that homelessness situation in Canada. Well, you found it?
Go ahead. Yes, I did find it.
Okay, go ahead.
Before, as you mentioned homelessness, I'm going to give a shout out to a local politician. He's actually running for, he's a municipal government. He's running for mayor in Ajax. And I asked him, what is it? I went to one of their town hall meetings and he said, one of the addresses, one of the things, the main things he wants to address, this is Arthur Augustine speaking. He says he wants to address the issue of homelessness.
Big problem.
And so many people in that meeting were a little bit surprised because Ajax is a well-to-do,
supposedly
municipality.
Yeah.
Beautiful homes, people, middle-class incomes doing really well. Prices are up to, catching up to Toronto. It's one of the overflow areas for the GTA.
Yes.
And yet there is such a big problem.
I was shocked when I heard about the tent city.
Yes. And
in Ajax.
Apparently, when we think of people who are homeless, we think of the man lying on the street by the subway on the, in winter over the heater. But we're thinking of the bedraggled, decrepit looking like a bum. But that's not necessarily the true picture. These are people who can go to work, but they live in their cars. They may go to Walmart for a quick wash, but when they come back at night, they're sleeping in their cars. And so the face of homelessness
there are a lot of people that sleep in their cars in this city.
Yeah.
A lot of people that we don't know of.
Yes.
Right.
So if we're going to combat that, then the multi-generational home, let me get back to that for a minute. It says it is an answer. Most families that immigrate to Canada are already very familiar with the concept of multiple families or generations living under one roof. The paradigm shift here is to take that mindset and make it a planned and purposeful integration that creates economic strength, right? And then Kira, she says, what if this same reliance on family for support happens sooner, right? You must be mad, right? I can hear some of you saying already, but I'm looking at an article here and the computer's a little bit slow. It's yes, the merging of a generation under one roof comes at a time where the dynamic is one where help is needed. That is mom or dad moving in because they need, and we mentioned that, of course, or vice versa. And I've become a convert, she says, to multi-generational living because
she has done it. She has literally
proof.
done it. So she is not just talking, she is, putting her she's a living testament to what is that, and she has a beautiful home. We were there, was it yesterday? Yesterday we were there.
Yeah.
And it's well, I mean, there must be some level of stress living with more than one families. That is a norm, but I must say that they're handling it, superbly well, superbly well. And this is highly recommended because, as we know, like we talked to Kofi, our son, it's very difficult for one person in today's society, today's market, to purchase a home unless they're making $300,000-$400,000 income. It's not possible, because what you're going to buy, there was a time when you could have bought a house for $250,000, $300,000. One income would qualify you for that. That is, where that is hanging your hat where you can't reach it if you were to try to do it. right? So the multi-generational type of living, type of accommodation is the trend, and
So
that is what
what are some of the benefits though? What do you think she would have mentioned?
well, when I would think, I mean, I've never done it as an adult, but I would think that there would be some reduced costs, like groceries and stuff like that. Everybody shares the facilities, right? Instead of one person paying for it all,
Yes.
everything is pooled together. That's
For
cooperativism.
every plus you give, I'm going to be devil's advocate
Okay.
and see if we come up with one of the disadvantages. Do you think that could work both ways? Whereas if you had a family of two and you're buying groceries for a set amount, 4 people,
Yeah.
right? Mother, father, 2 children, and then you move in, it's a bigger family. So now the groceries is pooled, so groceries could be more.
It could be more, but the challenge,
buying power
the buying power is less. The challenge also is not everybody likes the same dishes.
Yeah.
So that is a problem. So you really have to control, and that's where stress comes in.
And
who's going to do the cooking? How many kitchens you have? Those are all the things you.
But what I know, I wish I could find the article. I wish I could find. While you read the emails, I'm going to find the article because she really did an excellent job talking about everything. Because she mentioned the fact that if you were able to save, right, it's double power now because you now have 2 families.
Yes.
Costs are less, and then they can save more.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is to save to actually build on.
Right.
The government has just released, they've made it possible. Something that was banned in Toronto where you could not put a secondary home on your property. But now, if you have an existing home, they're given the permits.
Oh, they did?
They have that you can now build the grandparent or the teenager home, or something you can rent as an Airbnb, etc., in the backyard.
And I want to believe that COVID is the result of that. That is the result of COVID. Because of what happened in the nursing homes, they realized it was a huge problem. Accommodation in these nursing homes is not really the best, and they're expensive. And people can get better care living at home with their relatives.
Yeah. Right. So do you want to get back to a few emails?
Yeah, we just got one here from Ken, and he said, Fred, you are amazing. Thank you, Ken. You're so right about building houses in the outskirts of big cities. Transportation is the key. The federal government here can do more. They do not. Shame on them. And that is so true. That is a problem. I don't know who what do you call those people that plan the city planners?
Yes.
I don't know who they are. I don't know what college or university they went to. And I don't know when they're doing their forecasts, if they don't think beyond 20, 30, 40 years. But this has been a problem in the GTA. They build these roads and they don't make enough concession for future 5 years down the road, when you have a massive influx of people coming in from the suburbs onto the same roadway. That is a huge problem.
But if you are an investor, this is actually a good time to buy a home.
It is.
Because prices have gone down.
Yeah.
Right? At least 20% in some areas, which makes it, if you have the ability to buy and you have saved your down payment, this is actually a good time.
But then it still comes back to, you save your down payment. It probably took you 5, 7, 8 years to get that down payment. But is it enough? That is where the problem comes in. You have your down payment only to be faced with what is now known as a stress test, a mortgage stress test, which is, is nonsense.
Well,
it's total nonsense. All they're doing is protecting the money that they're lending out, right? They want to make sure, whoever it is, the banks, I'm blaming the banks today, they want to make sure that you're able to pay for it.
But isn't that what, this was actually one of the solutions, at least one of the so-called solutions that they came up with, during the last economic crash.
Yeah,
remember
but
the housing crisis?
yeah, but that
in the US?
has it might be a solution, but a solution for who? It's only for the wealthy people that can afford these down payments these days, and that is the reason why multi-gen housing is a benefit, right? It's something that young people are forced to look into, right? Because of the high cost of borrowing money. That's what it
And
is.
she says a word to buyers, based on prices alone, it would seem like a great time to buy.
It is a great time.
But interest rates rose in January.
Right.
And again over the summer.
And it might be going up again.
Talking that it might go up again,
So
right?
there again, it's more stress on the person that wants to buy a home.
Right.
And,
so even though the house prices have gone down, the interest
rates goes up.
And therefore affordability becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Right? So following this logic, the real question a buyer needs to ask themselves is, if I wait to buy a home and interest rates go up, yes, prices will be cheaper. But what will my monthly payment be at the higher rate? Will the increase in monthly payments strip away savings by prices having been reduced? Sometimes the answer is yes. A higher interest rate can make the monthly payment on a lower priced home more expensive than a lower rate on a high priced home. So it's all about the interest rate, right?
So the problem is being created not only by the builders hoarding the land, it's created by the bankers raising the interest rates
and they say
on the average person.
This to try and curb inflation.
They're not curbing inflation. They're putting pressure on, and then they come out with these statistics that house prices is going to fall, and all these crazy statistics. They're driving fear, and that fear causes stress. It's like everything they do bring on some level of stress on the person who would love to purchase a home.
Yeah.
Not, I mean, you have so many renters out there would love to buy a home, but
it's stressful for the people who they're young folks, they want to buy, they want to leave home and they can't.
Yeah.
Right? It's stressful for the people who have bought and who paid. In the community where we are, there's a couple that paid over $700,000 for a home.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe with 20% drop, they're now
there's a huge drop.
Home that they paid that's now worth probably 100,000 less.
Yep.
That's stress.
That is stress. That is fear. And if they are in a situation where when time comes for renewal and the prices are still low, let's hope they're not, but let's say that happens, prices are low, they get a low evaluation for a renewal of the mortgage. And
oh my goodness.
That's more stress. That's more stress. So,
and what are the things we need to do when you own a home? You want to take a vacation. Right?
Yeah, and that's where, as I mentioned earlier, the house poor conundrum comes in, where you want to take a vacation, but you can't because your income is not supporting that extra income. That's why people have to look for several other, employment.
Yes.
Right?
Secondary
because
income.
You need that income.
Some people are going to have to get into new debt in order to service their current situation. And that is just how it's going to be for a while until things turn around again. And her note to sellers now, she had a note to the buyers. She said, for sellers, today's prices may look disheartening. If only you had sold in January 22 instead of now. But that's because they're forgetting that that was the second best real estate market ever in Canada, right? Prices.
You mean back in January?
Yes.
Wow.
Prices have come down substantially, but if you bought 5 years ago, your home value has grown by these following.
So you still have a lot of equity in your home if you had bought 6 years ago.
In Durham region, it went up 62%.
What?
In Halton, this is Canadian statistics, 44%. And I'm sure in the US, some of these numbers are not, it's not.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the US market, but I would think in some areas it would be just as good.
But here's a situation. I have refinanced. This is an example of someone. Taking out my equity. I actually didn't buy more than 5 years ago. I only bought 2 years ago and paid a high premium for my home. You're right. It's not a good time to sell for everyone. However, consider this. If you want to sell your home to buy something larger, smaller homes are more affordable to most and have a larger pool of buyers to buy them. The smaller homes have not fallen in value as much as the larger ones, which have a smaller pool of buyers to buy them. Quite
yeah, that's a wide range. Now, folks, we are not real estate agents. We are just reading statistics that was sent to us by the guest that should have been here, Kira Anderson, our daughter. Unfortunately, she had to make a trip to the hospital with her daughter, and hopefully everything is well. We'll get the good news a little later. But today's show, we wanted to focus on the stress-related conditions for people who are looking to buy a home, or those that are fortunate to own a home, living in a home, having all the stress that comes with with it, because it's a health program. And it doesn't matter what you do, what you have, where you live, there is some level of stress. And that is what we're trying to do, talk to people today. We would have been talking to Kira to give us some clues as to how they can reduce, because you can't really get rid of stress. That's part of life.
You can't.
But you can reduce it.
Yes, but right? when we talk about stress, we're talking about major stress. We're talking about stroke.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Heart disease.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of these things, like even diabetes.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from the other things that create
heart problems.
Not eating well, not sleeping, not getting enough exercise, etc. Like that is
so
a problem.
What can be done?
Solution
based on what we know, what we have said. Again, we're not real estate agents. We're just messengers of information that we get. What can be done to, if not reduce, eliminate? Oh, sorry. I'm the one that's banging this time, Gary. I hope you didn't hear that. You didn't hear that.
We hear it.
Okay. What can be done to reduce the craziness that causes the stress?
I think this would be a good time to talk about the Ontario Tenant Cooperative.
Oh,
it's
yes.
an initiative that we are involved with.
Yes.
And I believe that it's going to be one of the many projects that many people are doing within, like private citizens are looking at alternatives. What can they do to help solve some of the situations? So do you want to tell us what OTC stands for?
Let me just briefly explain what this is all about. OTC, Ontario Tenant Corporation, OTCI rather, Ontario Tenant Corporation Inc. Cooperative, sorry. Cooperative. What is a corporation? A cooperative corporation, yes, right? It is something that was created with the main purpose of helping individuals to own real estate. And I'll explain to you why this is done. Now, municipalities around Canada, but specifically in Ontario, because only residents of Ontario could become a member of this, right?
OTCI.
Yeah, of OTCI. Municipalities in Ontario, they are talking of ways to combat the great situation of homelessness. And as we've mentioned earlier, homelessness is a huge problem.
And getting worse.
And it's only going to get worse, right? And so municipalities are reaching out to communities to come up with ideas that can help make this deficiency less severe.
Correct.
Right? And so OTCI, the cooperative that we are affiliated with, it is an organization that, as I said, aim is to work with individuals, specifically tenants, tenants of any culture. It doesn't matter where you are in Ontario. The idea is for tenants to build real estate equity as a cooperative, right? And as such, OTCI it's a member-driven, and it's a fair profit business. That is the structure. It's member-driven. It's a fair profit business, And it's member driven because it is a cooperative.
And you have to be a member.
And you
to
have
get
to be a
involved.
member to get involved. It's very similar to going to a credit union and you become a member.
Mhm.
Everybody of that credit union that has an account is a member owned. They own
Yes, they own a piece of the
they
pie.
own a piece of the pie.
And they share in the profits.
And they share in
big
the
thing
profits,
is when
right?
the company makes money, they share in the
Right.
profits.
So OTCI, Ontario Tenant Cooperative Inc., is planning to provide member services and develop real estate for the underserved. All right. These are
Okay.
individuals who have basically been knocked out because of the high interest rates, the high cost of purchasing a home. So this program is specifically designed for them.
Yeah. Which includes pensioners.
Right. Pensioners and renters. Right. So the plan of OTCI is to provide services such as rental market for pensioners, rent to own opportunities, group homes, and low cost housing. That is our focus. That is the focus. And folks, again, I'm going to say we are affiliated with OTCI. Membership is open to Ontario residents only.
Because it is a cooperative.
It is a cooperative within Ontario. It has to operate within the laws of Ontario. So membership is for Ontario residents only. The cost to become a member is $100.
Right.
And
what does that get you?
You get 1 share per dollar.
Okay.
So $100 will give you 100 shares. Again, it's very much like joining a credit union.
Okay.
There is also a maximum yearly subscription of up to $1,000 per year. You cannot buy more than
because
that.
That is the law.
That is the laws of Ontario. Right.
If you're with a cooperative, your contribution cannot exceed $1,000 per year for up to 10 years.
For up to 10 years.
Yes.
Right. So now you have a choice. You can make a one-time payment of the $1,000 for the year, or you can structure it over monthly payments over time.
What would that be? I think it's $100 for the membership and then $83.
It is something dollars.
It's $83 every month.
Every month.
And that you would get a return on your investment.
Yes.
Because this money will be, there will be investments that they will be able to get better than having it in the bank anyway.
Precisely. Right.
Okay.
So that's it in a nutshell. And if you would like to get more information on OTCI, we recommend that you give us a call at 416-460-5645. That number again is 416-460-5645, or drop us a line. You can write us via email to membership@otci.ca. That's membership at otci.ca. And remember, what's the website? There's a website. otci.ca.
Okay, so
yeah,
the
you can
email
go
is membership@otci.
Yeah,
the
website is otci.ca. Again, otci.ca. You can pull up the forms. There's a subscription form. There's a membership form. You may have to download it, fill it out, and email it back to OTCI.
But the whole idea, I know, with the first project, what we're looking for the first project is smaller units.
Yes.
Where people can actually
a pensioner, where a pensioner
move
could
from your
live.
car.
Yes.
Or if you just if you're paying, $2,000 a month and you can't, and you have to live with 4 people.
Yes.
Just to be able to afford the rent.
Yeah.
Then you can have a private space with a room and washroom and personal
everything.
kitchen, privacy.
Yeah.
Nice, new, clean, for probably like much lower than the average
Than what you pay.
rent.
Now, and I'm glad you touched on that. Another thing, even that is a benefit to those individuals. But for people who are, as a matter of fact, living in an apartment 5, 10, 15, 20 years, they've been paying rent all those years. What
do they have to show?
What do they have to show?
Right.
What has the landlord given to them? Right? Absolutely nothing. And every year the rent goes up by whatever percentage. and you have to find that money to live.
Yes.
So
And with this,
that is why OTCI is such an important cooperative that we want people to understand the benefits that you're going to be getting. Drop us a line, give us a call, find out more about it. I'd love to speak to you on this project. It is worthwhile. The benefits are tremendous. We have a lot of things coming on board that we will be offering to our members. So please tell a friend, give us a line, drop us a line, give us a call. Right.
Okay, that sounds great.
And once again, let me just tell you where you could send that information to. You can give us a call at 416-460-5645. That's 416-460-5645. Or you can write to membership@otci.ca. Membership@otci.ca.
Yeah. And municipalities are going to be very happy. They're encouraging these kind of projects because we remember, I don't know if we had mentioned it on air, but over the Labor Day weekend, we had folks staying with us because they couldn't get a hotel.
All the hotels we called were transferred to shelters.
Yes.
In the GTA.
And with immigrants, like it's stated, I have it somewhere here, where the amount of immigrants that are expected to come to Toronto
is literally thousands, hundreds of thousands of immigrants.
International migration is expected to reach 1.2 million immigrants.
And they have to live somewhere.
Between 21 and 2023.
Wow.
With most of them will be located in the GTA.
Yeah.
So there is a crisis in housing.
And it's only going to get worse.
And this is not, Toronto is probably it's the biggest city in Canada.
The fourth largest city in North America.
Right?
In North America.
And this is not a problem that's unique to Canada.
No.
It is a global problem.
Yep.
I don't know where there's even countries, the European countries, they're taking in a lot of the refugee situation, especially now with the war, and not just the Ukrainian war.
Yeah.
Right. We have problems in
right here in Canada. You had a lot of Afghanis that came because of that conflict, and before that you had the Iraq-Iranian conflict. So people are coming. The problem is not that we don't have enough land. There is enough land. What there is a lack of is a lack of creativity, right? And
it's the inadequate supply of homes.
Yes, but that is because of a lack of creativity.
Yes,
there is land.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah,
that's what it is, right?
Oh, you actually agreed with me? Oh man!
Don't bang on the desk.
Sorry, Gary. Didn't mean to bang. Okay.
So what's coming up next week?
Next week, it would be nice if we can have Kira, but that slot is already booked.
It's already Kira. We'll get her.
We'll get Kira. We have to get Kira to really go through this in detail because this is such an interesting topic. And because we are not versed in real estate,
and we
just had to pick through
with a little more than 15 minutes notice, probably we could have done a better job.
Right.
But I think you didn't do too badly.
I would like to
too badly.
No, not too bad.
Right?
We just had 10, 15 minutes to prepare for this. But it shows that we were prepared in some way.
But even without being prepared, like everybody, if you live anywhere, there is even Trump right now is having real estate issues, right? Right. He's having some real estate problems and challenges, right? He's overinflating. We don't want to get into that, but overinflating, square footage to get.
Hey man, you got to do what has to be done.
So do we have a couple more emails?
Yeah, let me just get to this email here. Here's one from Hannah. He says, "Hello, Fred and Janet. Excellent show today. What information. Thank you very much for the topic. We love you in Oakville. And we love
and Oakville is one of the well-to-do areas. It's one of the well-to-do suburbs. So I hope you have a beautiful home and that you're not suffering the stress of home ownership.
Thank you very much for that, Hannah. Here's one from Shane. And Shane says, "Fred, thank you very much for the information on OTCI. Great. Thank you, Shane. You can always give us a call
Yes.
at the numbers I mentioned, and as well as dropping us a line, and we will give you more
And tell
information on that.
friends about it, right?
Yeah.
Tell friends about it, because this is going to be a program. Once we can get to talk with people individually and we're willing to go and talk with communities.
Yeah.
It is such a fantastic program. I know the gentleman who is a brainchild, he's such a private person. So, but once we can talk with you, we can talk about the vision, because it's a fantastic vision.
Fantastic.
And it's going to help. We talk about being socially responsible.
Yeah, this is
a impact.
Yeah, this is a vehicle to institute that kind of thinking, and we're going to be talking about it more. This is the first time we've actually mentioned it on the show.
Yes.
It's a fully registered cooperative. Fully registered company here in Ontario. We're ready to go. So let the membership flow. We're looking forward to that.
So next week,
what do we have next week?
We're going to on the whole vein of what causes us stress. We started with real estate. Now, whenever there is a problem, we're hoping there is also solution.
Yes.
So we're going to bring a couple of investor financial planners in next week. And there goes Basil Rodney. I think he's with Investors Group.
Investors Group.
And he's going with his partner. They're going to share with us some of the strategies that we can do to lessen the debt in our lives that creates so much stress.
Right.
And that some of the options that we need to do. Today, what were you and I talking about today? You were saying, why do people care so much about the future?
Oh, yeah.
I said, what kind of stupid question is that?
Yeah, that almost cost a divorce, folks.
Because you're saying we're in the present.
You live for the now.
Present.
Yeah, the future doesn't exist. The future is an illusion.
It's
an illusion.
Exist.
Yeah.
But if you don't plan for the future and it comes,
plan for now.
Tomorrow is what is that
now.
saying today? Is it tomorrow? We thought of yesterday.
Yeah.
So
yesterday is
back
gone.
on the past.
Yeah.
We deal with the present, but we make plans for the future. And if that's not sound advice, I don't know what is.
No, but you make plans. But I'm saying
you just those plans that you make.
No, those plans that you're making for tomorrow, when tomorrow comes, is today.
Do you have any plans for tomorrow?
No, because I don't know if I'll die.
Why am I with you then?
Because you love me.
Why am I going to stick with somebody who has no plans for the future? If my son or daughter was getting married, that's one of the questions. What do you bring to the table, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that's human. How are you going to
support your significant other? What do you bring? So if you don't have a plan for tomorrow, but anyway, you know what? Let's not fight about
that's another
today.
Show. Yeah.
Let's get Basil and his friend, his co-worker, his partner, to talk about it next week. How about that?
That sounds good.
Okay.
That sounds good. Okay, we got just 2 minutes left on the show. And this is, I'm enjoying today's show. This is fun. Let me see if I have any more email to read out here. Do I?
I think
we got one here. This is from Sue. And Sue says, hi, Jonathan Fred. Love the show today.
Wow.
You two rock.
Okay.
See,
I
we
thought
are
I
rockers.
saw a joke. Did I see a joke? Or you have one or two?
There's one there. This from Sue as well. Sue wrote us another one. Since your guest had to cancel, can I send you a joke? What do tofu and dildo have in common? They're both meat substitutes.
Let me tofu and a dildo. Oh, I see. Okay, they're both meat substitute. Oh, Sue, it took me a double read to get that one. Funny.
That's because we're old,
and at least we didn't have to get Gary to come in with the censorship.
The following program. No, only kidding.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so that brings us to almost the end of the show. I mean, if you've missed any of our shows, you can listen or watch them on the following platforms: Spotify or YouTube. Just type in Liquid Green Health Show. On Facebook, it's Liquid Green Products Inc. And please do not forget to visit us at liquidgreenproducts.com. Enter that code RR101 and you get a huge discount.
I want to throw something out. I know you're going to slap me on the wrist, but just before
I have just a few seconds.
look out for exciting information from Liquid Green Products. We had a fantastic meeting this week, and hopefully we're going to be joining forces.
Yeah, we have an exciting, some good stuff, good
another company, and it's going to be awesome, but that's going to be for a later show.
And so with that, folks, I'd like to end today's show with this topic. Good health is central to human happiness and well-being. It contributes significantly to prosperity and wealth and even economic progress.
Definitely.
As healthy individuals, we are more productive and may even live longer. So until next Sunday, same time, same place, this is Janet and Fred of the Liquid Green Health Show on Reality Radio 101 saying, let's stay healthy. Have a good evening.
Thank you for listening to the Liquid Green Health Show with your hosts, Fred and Janet Cox, right here on Reality Radio 101.